screen. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys. Alrighty. So this is video in real estate. Today I will be telling you guys about some of the relevant history of video, as well as how we can be using video for real estate, some of the pros and cons of making your own video productions, as well as what you need to get started, some of the basics of filming and editing. And then after that, we are going to go straight into practical information. And I'm going to show you how to make a few things using Canva and Instagram Reels. After that, we'll have a Q&A, hopefully a little bit longer than usual, just in case anyone's confused or wants to know how to do something specific. So the relevant history that we will be looking at today is mostly about video sharing platforms, just because I think it's important to know about that if you're going to be posting on them. So there has been a trend over time of YouTube videos getting significantly longer. In 2010, they removed the 10-minute limit, and then they also removed the time limit entirely. So since then, videos have slowly become longer, and people have become more interested in watching really long form, very highly produced YouTube videos, almost to the point where it's become a TV replacement in our daily lives. This also led to a rise in professional YouTube creators. And the thing that's relevant to you guys is that it's caused YouTube to kind of feel like you really have to have a high production value on everything you put out. So some people feel pressured to have really high quality audio, high quality video, a nice set, a lot of equipment. And that is not necessary to really get people interested in you as a person. But that is a trend that people were really feeling online, especially in YouTube. And as we move towards more advertiser friendliness on this platform, they also had to really censor themselves and be very advertiser friendly. So they had to be very child friendly, very non-controversial, and just make everything look really professional and advertiser friendly. So this basically led to a little bit of backlash against that idea. People were creative. They wanted to share more casual content, and they didn't want to produce 40-minute YouTube videos that people were watching like it was HGTV. They wanted to make short videos. They wanted to be a little more casual. So the future potential of short videos was proven a couple years ago by concepts of stories. If you remember Snapchat, eventually that idea got taken over by Instagram, Facebook, all the major sites. Everyone has stories now. As well as Vine, which was a short form comedy platform where people would make 6-second videos. It was super casual. And that was highly successful as well for a brief time. So these days, recently, TikTok has actually become more, I wouldn't say more popular. YouTube still has a lot more viewers. But if you look at this chart down here, TikTok has actually gotten more average hours per user than YouTube has, which means that people have a big appetite for short form content, and they're willing to watch lots of content, lots of different videos for a long period of time, instead of watching one really long YouTube video. So this is important because it means that there's a larger chance for people to see a video that's shorter, because you can watch 40 one-minute videos or one 40-minute video. And those 40 videos might be made by different people. So TikTok really took off because of people being tired with really polished content. Creators who were really smart didn't want to spend days and weeks making these really highly produced videos. And people were tired of it. They thought it was a little bit fake. And also it really skyrocketed discoverability. So it means that if you post something, people can find it much more easily. They have an algorithm that allows anybody to see your video regardless of how many followers you have. So that was really popular. And nowadays, TikTok's format is being copied by other social medias, which is why it's relevant to you. All right, so let's get into specifically real estate video. because I know that's what you guys care about. So here are some types of videos for real estate. If you ever are stuck on an idea of what to film or what to do, I would like you to come back and look at this. Some things that we thought of were photo slideshows. Those are some of the easiest videos to make because it's just photos. You don't actually have to go and film anything. You can make it with just pictures. Also, a walkthrough video, which is like giving people a tour of a house. You can also do it with an agent voiceover. So doing a walkthrough with a voiceover filmed at a later time is really nice because it allows you to do multiple takes on the voiceover if you mess up or if you want to get a little more concise with things. I also really like house tour videos and virtual showings, which is where you are on camera. Sometimes you need a second person to help film you walking in front of them. Sometimes you can do it yourself, maybe if you have a selfie stick or something, or just filming and talking behind the camera. But I call these kind of like a virtual showing. You're just walking through the house with your audience and telling them about it. And I feel like everyone knows how to do that already. You just have to get a hold of the video stuff. Another type of video would be a property tour, just walking the land of an area, maybe a warehouse or something, not necessarily a house tour. A fun video I don't see that often, but I really like is a property or a neighborhood overview. This is when an agent might walk around the neighborhood, show some of the local amenities, some interesting features. Where I live, I saw somebody walk around on the hiking trails around here to show some of the experience of living in this area. I also think educational videos are really great. You can teach them some really important information about real estate, what you wish your clients knew when they came to you. And that also helps your future clients either understand your expertise or learn what you want them to know without you having to have a one-on-one conversation with them. I also think state of the market type videos. You could do a casual filming yourself talking on social media or put it on YouTube or do a live stream. Are really great videos because not only are your clients interested, but other real estate agents are probably also interested in watching those because your opinion on these things is really important to people. That also ties into live streams. You can go on a live stream and that is a form of video. It's usually the most casual because there's no editing whatsoever. You just go live on a platform like Facebook or Instagram, even TikTok if you want to. And just talk to the camera, talk to the audience. They can send you comments live and you can reply to them. I think that's a good format for things like state of the market. And you also can do fun things like social media trends and challenges or going around filming yourself throughout the day of a real estate agent to help people understand what you do for them. And I know a lot of people, maybe as a fun little thing, would like to film a DIY or renovation video. If you are a big HGTV fan, that is a fun thing to do and people love those. So where should we be posting these videos that we want to make? I will tell you that everyone's currently using videos who does single property websites with us because we upload videos to those and it comes with the marketing kit that has the slideshow videos in them. But you can also post videos to YouTube and Vimeo. Those are the two long form video platforms, I would say. So if you have a longer video, that's where you should be posting them. Facebook and Instagram are also great for videos. People like to watch them more casually on there. And if you would like to start TikTok, I think that might be a good platform for real estate agents. There is a growing community of real estate agents on there. So there are real estate influencers that you might be interested in following and seeing what they're doing to promote themselves through video. There's also other forms of social media, Twitter and LinkedIn, though I do not really recommend that you spend your time on those unless you are cross-posting. You're just posting something you put on Facebook to those other sites as well. Mostly because Twitter is a text-based platform, so people don't really watch videos on there. And I don't know how many people spend a lot of time on LinkedIn for fun. I don't know. Personally, I've never gone on LinkedIn and started watching videos. I'm just on there for a short time. You can also use your videos for advertisements if you have all the rights for that. You can do sponsored posts on Instagram or on Facebook. And if you have a Zillow certified photographer, they can upload their videos to Zillow for you. So we upload our agent walkthroughs to Zillow for our customers, for example. I also highly recommend cross-posting. So if you make a video that will work on one platform, I highly recommend posting it on as many platforms as you can, because that just increases the chance that people will watch it. Maybe they don't watch YouTube, but they watch videos on Facebook, for example. Or maybe all of your friends will see an Instagram reel you post, but they might not be on TikTok, so they might not see it on there. So I always think it's valuable to cross-post between multiple sites. Now, for some of the downsides of video, I will say video editing takes way longer than editing a photo or even editing text, because it's like 1,000 photos put together. It's also really hard on your technology for the same reason. So sometimes a more complicated video program can crash on you, or it can cause your computer to get really loud and stressed out with the fans running really fast. It also can take a longer time to export video than photo or other types of media. And the videos can get really, really big and fill up your storage really fast. It also can be kind of expensive to make videos, though I'm going to do my best to show you as many free options and low-priced alternatives as possible. I also think a lot of video editing programs have a steep learning curve, so I've picked out some for you that are a little faster and more intuitive to learn how to use. There's also a very strict regulation for drone videos, which is why I'm not mentioning it here. It's really strict, so make sure to look those up if you're interested in that. Some of the benefits of video is that it's way more immersive than photos, and they're really fun to watch. So people like watching videos. It's also really easy to make videos just using your phone. You don't have to have a lot of complicated technology to do it. It can combine visuals with audio in a way that other types of media really can't do. And that helps hold your attention for way longer and helps it be considered a form of entertainment. So people really do like watching videos. Part of why I think it's really important for real estate specifically is it's great for conveying the feeling of moving through a space or looking around. Unless you are taking like 1,000 photos of your house and uploading them to Zillow or Redfin MLS, you can't really see all the angles of a space. And sometimes it's hard to tell what's behind a corner, or if the camera was just moved slightly to the left or right a little bit. So video helps show more angles of a space in just one thing. You don't have to have over 1,000 photos to show everything. I also think it's way easier to build emotional connections because people can hear your voice, or even if you don't use your voice, they can hear music that's stirring an emotional response while looking at the video. So what do you need to get started? I'd say the first thing you need to do is consider whether you want to be taking vertical or horizontal videos. This is because I personally really do not recommend cropping your video to be either horizontal or vertical if it wasn't that way already. So vertical videos are really great for short form videos, especially. It's good for Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. So once again, I recommend that you film it in a vertical portrait form to start with. Don't try and crop it from a horizontal video unless you absolutely have to. You can also easily crop a vertical video to a square or 4:3 sized video. So it's not impossible to crop a vertical video. I just do not recommend trying to crop to horizontal. You can also see them in full screen on your phones without rotating, and it's really great for talking head videos. So if you are filming yourself talking, it just cuts out a lot of this unnecessary background. As you can see while I'm talking right now, you don't need to see all this back behind me. It's unnecessary information. So it's totally fine to film something like this in a portrait orientation. It also can be used on stories if you are an Instagram stories user, Facebook stories user, and it can be much more casual. It just kind of has a casual feel to it. As for horizontal videos, those are best for YouTube or if you want to post on Facebook as a regular post. Once again, don't crop from a portrait video. It makes it really small. And this looks really good full screen on computer screens or rotated phones and tablets. So it doesn't really lock you out of being viewed on a phone. It just isn't as easy. People have to flip their phone over. These are really great for filming wider landscapes and tours because I don't know if everyone's thought of this, but your eyes are on a horizontal plane. So when you look around, you're not really seeing up above you really high or down below you really low. You're mostly seeing this plane of motion, so a horizontal plane. So this is really why it feels more realistic for a tour of a house or something like that to be filmed in horizontal orientation. And these videos can be less casual if you want it to be. I think portrait kind of tends to be locked into being less casual these days, at least, whereas horizontal videos are usually seen as more formal. Now, here's an example of why I don't recommend cropping. This video or this slideshow is currently in the normal horizontal orientation. So if I wanted to crop a vertical video out of this, I wouldn't even be able to fit all of this text in it. This is the typical screen sized 16:3 or 16:9 type orientation. And then if you crop in again, so if you have a portrait video already and then you try to crop a horizontal video out of it, you lose even more information. So you can fit maybe half of the bullet points and they're all cut off. So it really limits how much of the video you can actually see when you try to crop in like that. Now, what do you need to make these videos? You only really need a camera, microphone, and editing software. And I recommend that people use a smartphone for this because it combines all these three things. So you don't need a fancy camera, you don't need a fancy microphone, and you don't need fancy editing software because you can get all of these things included in your phone. Even if you don't already have editing software downloaded, there are free ones available in the app stores that you can download. So one of the things I think everyone should take a brief look at is their phone video settings, just because I'm not sure if everyone's ever customized these. So one thing I like to do is to go into my settings and either search camera or video, something like that, depending on what type of phone you have. And this will let you change your video settings. So this is actually what my phone looks like. This is what I have selected. You can choose the resolution, which is how large the video is. It's the pixel width of the video. And you can also choose how many frames per second that is being shot on the video. So 30 is a little faster than the film standard. So it's perfectly smooth, it's perfectly nice. And then 60 is extra smooth. There's 60 little photos jammed into every second of your video. I will say, you can see down here, it tells you that these larger 4K videos take up way more space and that will really jam up your phone. So be careful with that. You can also choose whether you want to take your slow-mo in 120 or 240 frames per second. And that just chooses how slow the slow-mo is going to become. It also gives you the option to record stereo sound. I suggest that, leave that on if you see it, just because that helps your sound quality. Now, for extra equipment, this is some of the fun little gadgets that you can get for recording on your smartphone. I think tripods are probably the most basic and useful thing. I don't know if you've ever tried to balance your phone without something properly holding it up, but usually they just fall right over. You might break the screen or something. So these types of tripods that clamp onto your phone, you don't even need a special case, are really great for keeping your phone steady, filming yourself from a distance, or just keeping the shot really straight and not moving. I like these kind of adjustable legs because you can actually grip them onto a banister or something. They don't have to be on a solid surface. Or you can adjust how tall each leg is by bending it a little bit. This gadget's called a gimbal, and this is something you hold and it kind of floats your phone away from your hand. So it helps maximize the stabilization of your video. This is really good for filming while you're walking around because the shock of your feet hitting the ground when you're walking is going to transfer to the video and cause like vibrations and bumpiness that sometimes makes people a little bit motion sick. There is some learning curve with the gimbal. It can be kind of challenging to use at first, even if it looks really basic, but it's super fast to learn how to use. I also recommend if you are filming videos of yourself, it might be good to get a ring light that attaches to your phone or is on a tripod even. This is just a really cheap way to get flattering light. Sometimes when you want to film, the light's really, it's really not doing anything for you. Or you might be lit from behind and people can't see your face. So that's a good way to really quickly improve the production quality of your video. I also always recommend external batteries because filming video, editing video, just trying to save a video to your phone uses up a lot of battery, and you don't want to be stuck out and about with no battery left on your phone. So before you start filming, here are some things that I would like everyone to consider. The number one thing is, especially if you're using a phone, just make sure that you like wipe off the lens or make sure there's no big smudges on it. That really impacts the clarity of the video. And it's just a really fast, easy thing to do. I know a lot of people accidentally touch it throughout the day and it gets dirty. I also would like you to consider your lighting before you start filming. So if you are going to film a room in a house, maybe notice that the windows outside, it's super bright and you don't want the inside to look dingy. So you might want to lock the exposure or the focus inside the room and just let the windows in the back really blow out and just look white, maybe not see anything through them, so that the inside of the house is well lit. Or you might consider if you have a light behind your head, people might not be able to see your face. So that's just something to take note of before you start. I also would like people to think about how they'll reduce shakiness. Sometimes you don't need to do anything at all, but if you are going to be walking, maybe consider if you're going to do anything to mitigate that, or even decide to rest your phone or camera on something solid so that it's not shaky at all. I also would like you to consider if there's ambient noise. I know I've been guilty of this before. I've tried to record myself talking and I haven't noticed that somebody is jackhammering somewhere outside and everyone can hear it in the final recording. So if it's a little bit loud around you or if the birds are really going off in the distance, that sometimes will be picked up by your phone's microphone or anything else. So just think, if you were on a phone call, would people be able to hear any of this stuff going on behind you? And would they be able to hear what you are saying? Now for filming tips, one of the things I really recommend is resting the phone on, or camera just in general, on a stable surface. You can put it on a shelf, a counter, a windowsill. If you have a tripod, you can use it. If you're even trying to take a time lapse outside of the house with clouds moving behind it, maybe you can even rest your phone on the mailbox. I also recommend if you're trying to stabilize without using a gimbal like in this photo, it's really good to wear sneakers or shoes that don't have a hard bottom because those shoes transfer the shock straight through your legs. So if you're wearing a cushioned shoe, that will really help reduce shocks. And also walking slowly and carefully will make your videos way smoother than if you were running, for example. It's also good to brace your elbows against your side and use two hands to hold the camera because if one of your hands is shaky and the other hand shaky, maybe together they'll be more stable because they're probably both not shaking at the same way at the same time. And bracing your elbows just gives your arm less room to like be moving around. And also, this is just a super, super general tip, but if you are doubting how your video is going to come out, it's always good to move a little bit slower. So if you think it's going to be bumpy, just move slower. If you are panning across the room and you're worried that people might get motion sick from you moving too fast, just do it slower. You can really easily make the video faster while you're editing, but it's really hard to slow it down. Part of that is because of the frame rate. So if you are shooting with 30 frames per second and you try to slow it down by half, it's going to be 15 frames per second, which nobody uses because it's really jerky. It looks like stop motion. Now, one of the recommendations I really have for anyone trying to film a talking video is to record in your car. If you are uncomfortable filming in your house, if you don't want your family listening to you talking about a market report or something, or if you just want to be in a comfortable seat, without so much background noise. And it also can kind of improve lighting a little bit. If you're outside and the sun is shining straight down on the top of your head and it's giving you panda eyes in your video, it might be good just to sit in your car, have the shade over you, and it just makes everything look a little nicer. Also, there won't be random people necessarily walking right behind you. If it's really loud or really windy, I also think you might want to consider not recording live audio while you're filming, because sometimes you might not be able to hear it. And I don't want you to go and give a whole speech and then not have it be audible in the final clip. So maybe consider doing a voiceover or using video instead of talking in those kinds of videos. Now, here are some tips I have for making sure that your workflow is as efficient as possible, and you're not clogging up your storage space with unnecessary videos. So I really recommend that you do as much as possible before filming, and then I recommend that you do as much as possible before editing. This lets you fix problems before you have to deal with it in a later time, a later situation where you can't go back and re-record as easily. So I always suggest having a plan before you start filming, and then having a plan before you start editing. What are you going to do with the footage that you're taking? If you have a bad take where you mess up what you're saying and then re-record it, just delete the old one. Then you don't have to worry about what to do with it. You don't accidentally export it to your computer and then have a bad video that you don't even want to use, clogging up space. And also, if you want to use graphics in your videos, sometimes it's easier to use a program you already know how to use. I've told people before they can use PowerPoint to make something, which sounds crazy, but it can be easier than learning Photoshop, for example. If you already know how to use a program, you might as well do what you can in there, instead of spending a lot of time and money trying to use a more complicated program. I also recommend only importing the clips you want to use. And if you don't import it and you don't need it, delete it. Also, it's really good to trim your clips and put them in order before you start playing with the color or adding effects to anything, just so you know generally what you're doing. And everything's the shorter length. So if you try to add an effect to a clip, it's going to add it to the whole thing, which takes up a lot of power. It takes up a lot of energy from your phone. So you might as well cut it shorter already, so that it doesn't have to do so much work. And then also I recommend outsourcing. So if you can get someone else to do it, if you can pay someone else to do something difficult, I think that's really worthwhile, because your time is really valuable. Now, here are some video apps I recommend for people to download. Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube already have in-app video editors. So if you have those, you do not have to necessarily download these video editing apps. But I recommended ones that you can get on iPhone, ones you can get on other types of phone, and also some that are free and some that do some specialty things. So Canva is the #1 app I recommend that you download. It also lets you do things other than video editing, but it's really great for video and it's super intuitive. It has a really great free version, so you don't have to download anything or pay for more. Apple iMovie is already on a lot of iPhones. It might already be on yours, and it's really easy to use. There are tons of tutorials for it. ByteDance, which is the company behind TikTok, came out with a editing software called CapCut, and currently it's #5 on the App Store. This is a super popular one. It's very intuitive. Lots of kids use it. I know saying kids use it probably doesn't mean it's easy, but it's relatively easy to use. I've used it before. Filmora Go is a really popular one. This is also available on Android and Samsung. So it's a good option if you come across one that's not on your phone. Adobe Premiere Rush can link with other Adobe Suite things. So if you have Creative Cloud, you can get this for free. Vimeo Create, it's kind of like the YouTube app. They actually are pretty technically good, in my opinion. And Prequel is one of the best apps for adding filters and effects. If you want to add creative, fun effects to your videos, this is a great way to get those. It's free, there's a ton of options, and they don't put a watermark on your video. And then finally, if you want to record your screen, maybe do a tutorial of using your phone, showing people how to use an app, Record It is a great screen recording software. So here are some of these apps. And my number one tip is to make someone else do it when it comes to editing. If you do not want to put a lot of time into this, you can totally have someone else do it for you. So maybe you want to order drone videos, have that done by a professional. If you would like some cool animations, you can hire someone off Fiverr to do it. That's a website where you can pay people to do small projects. If you have an assistant who's better at technology, maybe you can ask them to do it. Or download pre-made videos from the marketing kit and edit those, or just use those as a base. You can even upload those directly if you would like. Finally, you can order walkthroughs and we will work with you to do an agent voiceover or something like that if you want a little bit of a production team behind you. Finally, I recommend that you don't forget audio. Audio really sets the mood. It lets you use voiceovers so you can tell people about it over top of what you're showing them. It can include ambient noise in your footage. So if you're filming a really beautiful house that has great gardens and there's birds chirping, that can be really nice. People like that. And you can also use it to add to the mood. So if you're selling a cute little house and it's a great starter home, you might want to go for something optimistic or cheerful. Whereas if you're selling a really high value property, maybe something more impressive and fancy. You can really tailor the music to fit the mood that you want people to have. I also think trending audio is a really powerful tool on social media for getting your video seen by more people. On both TikTok and Instagram, the audio you choose directly impacts how many people will see it, because there is really popular sounds and then those videos get shown to more people because the algorithm thinks that those people will be interested in your video. I will say YouTube has really strict copyright restrictions on audio, so please be careful that you have a copyright-free audio or you have the rights to use that audio before posting on YouTube. And if you're not quite sure, you can probably get away with posting it on Vimeo instead of YouTube, but they still have rules, like you still have to follow the rules. And TikTok and Instagram, if you really want to use copyrighted music, they are much easier to use popular new songs or things like that. Even if it's not technically allowed, you can get away with it and you're not going to get in trouble for it. Audio can really make or break a video, in my opinion. If you've ever heard a video that has really, really quiet audio or really screechy sounds, you know that bad audio can be quite literally painful. So it's always good to take a minute to consider your audio situation. Now, this is super technical, so you might not need to remember this. Just come back to this later if you're exporting or choosing a resolution and you want to remember. But some of the best file types to use are MP4 and MOV. That's only because I went through and checked these upload just fine to every social media site, every video site. The two most common aspect ratios at the moment are widescreen landscape 16:9 or full screen like phone 9:16. So these are just direct inverses of each other. Now, the resolution I would recommend that everyone uses is 1080p. This is considered full HD. But it's not huge. So you don't have to be saving 4K videos to your phone or to your computer and really wasting your storage space that way. Most people looking at a phone will never need over 1080p resolution because that's just what the phones are displaying these days. I also recommend that you keep your file size in general under 4 gigabytes. YouTube has no restrictions whatsoever as long as your video isn't over 12 hours long. But TikTok might compress your video if it's under this long random number right here. I also recommend if you're posting a short, an Instagram reel, TikTok, YouTube short, keep it under 60 seconds. This is not the limit for TikTok especially, but it does make it easier for you to cross post. So you can post on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube the same exact video as long as it's 60 seconds long and it will work everywhere. As for YouTube, I recommend under 15-20 minutes probably. That's just because a lot of people don't watch unknown creators for a really long time. You can go shorter than that, but people are more willing to tolerate a longer video on YouTube. As for thumbnails, as you can see on the side here, this is what we did to make our presentation for Instagram webinar look a little bit more professional on YouTube. We just added a graphic. It makes a little bit more of a professional impression and lets us get some of our branding in as well. You can really standardize the look. If you go to our video library page, you'll notice that pretty much all of our videos have the same kind of vibe in the thumbnail. And this kind of helps summarize information in a clean way and also capture the viewer's attention if they're looking at it. It just looks like a better produced video. You can really reduce clutter, such as all this random text on the screen in the webinar. And you can combine a really high quality photo with text for this. So even if your video is lower quality, you can add a super nice photo, professional photo if you want, as your thumbnail, and it will automatically look way nicer. You can also make your own designs in apps like Canva or Photoshop if you're good at that. Or you can choose an existing frame from the video. So for example, the webinar was not about if a business account is right for you, it was about Instagram. So maybe I could have chosen the title page of the webinar as a frame from the video without having to make our own graphic. And you can make thumbnails on YouTube and Vimeo, this traditional kind, and you can also make cover images on Instagram and TikTok. So I do think it's worthwhile for social media as well. Now let's show you guys how to make something. So Canva is an app that I would really like everyone to download. I'm going to show you around the app as well as how to use it just in general. Let me change the screens that I am sharing to be my full screen. Now this is the Canva app, or the Canva web app, sorry. There's also a Canva app for your phone, and the cool thing about it is that it syncs between both your phone and the computer. So if you do something on your phone, you'll be able to see it on the computer, and if you do something on the computer, you'll be able to see it on your phone. So here's the home page, and you can choose what you would like to design. I chose video because I'm interested in making a video. And here is just the blank video that you can make. There are a ton of template options that you can choose from. You can even search by specific themes. I'm going to look up real estate. And there are a lot of real estate options. So this is really a fun thing to do, in my opinion, is to choose a cool template and use that. Let's see, which ones do we like? I saved a couple of these for later. The other fun thing that you can do is elements. So you can search anything you want. Here are some of the elements I've used in this presentation, actually. I will look up a house. And it gives you access to a lot of clip art and stock photos. I have the premium version, but a lot of this is available to people who have the free version as well. For example, anything that doesn't have this little crown is available for free. You can also upload your own media. So I will upload, let's see. I will upload some of our logos. And these will just come on here. This is the stock photo section. You can look up stock photos if you want to use something that you do not have downloaded already. You can also add text. And there are a lot of options for pre-made kind of professional looking graphics, and you can just change what the text says. There are some audio options. I think a lot of these are premium, but not all of them are. So if you would like to find free music, you can do that this way, and you will have the rights to be using this video in your video. So start is a really great section I like. If you want to save a video or a template, you can add a little star button when you're looking at it, and it will save it to this section for later. There's also the option to add logos to a branding kit. So these are some of the logos we use for the staging company. And then you can also add folders to things. So this is all the designs I've made, things that I've purchased, I haven't purchased anything, and starred favorite content. So I'm going to pull open a template. And this is a little bit wide, but the fun thing is you can just drag everything you want and it's super intuitive. You can even select multiple things. Let me just select all this stuff. It really just drags around. It's kind of crazy. So you can just totally mess up a template if you want. You don't have to really be bound to anything specifically. You can use things as a base. So I think that's really neat. However, I'm going to select everything by dragging and get rid of that. So what I want to show you how to do really quickly is to make a branded end card for a video. So we do this for a lot of people just automatically when they order videos or for their slideshow videos, but not everyone knows how to do it. So I thought I would show you. I've imported our logo and added it. You can't see it because the background's currently white, but I'm going to center it by dragging. And then I'm going to change the background to be red so you can see it. You can see you can choose your photos right here. Now, something fun, if you look at the bottom, this is the editing, the video. It says it's 5 seconds long. I think that's an okay length. And I'm going to just animate this little photo real quick. So I am going to click animate. And you can choose different effects that you want it to have. So I'm going to just do rise. Now, if I want to make this a little more complicated, I can import a video. So here's a video. It's just from someone's marketing kit. And you can download one from your marketing kit as well. Though most of these are branded, you can get a branded version. So I don't think it's necessary to do this. Just any video you take, you can add professional branding to the end of it this way. Now you can literally just drag and resize the video. So here's the full video at the bottom. You can see it's just the whole slideshow. And then it goes into our little branded thing at the end. This plus sign is where you can add a transition or a page if you want. I'm going to add a transition, and I think I'm going to go for a traditional dissolve, maybe even a slide. I think a slide might be fun. So if I were to play this video, this is how it looks at the end. So it's just a really fast and easy way to add a little bit of branding to your video. Now, the really fun thing with Canva is that everything you do on the computer goes to your phone as well. So I'm going to open Canva on my phone. Let me cast it really quickly to the computer so you can see. Yes, you can see everything. All right. Over here on the side, you'll be able to see what's happening on my phone. And I'm going to go into the Canva app. And I am going to open what I've been working on. As you can see exactly what's happening on the phone as well. So on the phone, I'm going to not touch anything on the computer screen. When I select the logo, I can move it around. And what I'm doing on my phone appears on the computer as well. So this is really fun, especially if you have an assistant or someone and you want to work together. You can both be working at the same time, or you can do something on your phone and have it appear on your computer. You can make a change on your computer as well. So I think this is a super fun app to use. Now I am going to show you a template as well. So on Canva, you can use templates. I'm going to look up a mobile video, I think. So for a mobile video, maybe I'll just pick something with text. I don't know why it looks like that. And I'm going to upload a video to use. So let's just upload this. And I can drag and drop this video directly onto the background and it will replace what's in the template. See, it just pops in right there. And I can also change this text. I don't know why it looks like that. Now let's see how that looks. That looks strange. Let's change this font. There you go. That's a better font. I don't know what that other one was doing. And this has an effect on it that makes it look cool. So this effect is called Typewriter. You can change it to other things as well. But all of these effects are really slick and professional looking. So it's really easy to make these kinds of videos. I'm going to use the typewriter feature. And now if I want to save this to my computer, I can go over here and click share and then download. But that just puts it on my computer. What if I want to do this on Instagram and I only have the app on my phone? So the really fun thing is, even though I made this on the computer, it's easy for me to download on my phone. On your phone, you just click this, this little button at the top and hit download. And then I'm choosing to save it as an MP4 video just because that's a really easy video format to save everywhere. And it will just slowly export the video. Like I said, videos can take a little bit longer to export than other things because of the it's just a bunch of photos put together. So it's definitely logically going to be way slower than exporting photos. So now if I go into Instagram and I'll go to our normal account, I can easily post this using Reels. And I'll start a new one and you can see my chin. And you just add the video that you saved from Canva. So this is super, super easy. I personally don't think that was the best video because it was not the right file format. But let me turn this around so it's not showing you guys my chin. You can change the audio, the speed of the video. Like I said, it's easy to change the speed later on. You can do weird layout things. But I think I will just show you how to add a little bit of extra text to the video. You can click this A button at the top and add any additional text you would like to add. I don't remember what the address of this house is, so I will just call it 123 Address Street. And the fun thing with this is that you can change how long that is visible on the screen. You can change that by clicking this little button at the bottom and dragging either side of this timeline. So it only shows up when you want it to show up. Let's only show it for a little over 3 seconds at the beginning. And let's preview what that looks like. Oops. Hopefully it doesn't play the whole thing all the way through. All right. So it's only available at the very, very beginning and then it goes away. Now, I really suggest choosing a cover image that looks good. It'll take a second to load. So you can just pick anywhere in the video that you want to use. This isn't the best video choice for it, so I'm not sure exactly what I would like to pick, but I think that at the end is nice. And then you can also crop how it will appear on your feed down here. Just make sure it's fitting well and it looks good. Finally, you can do all the normal stuff like adding a caption, tagging people, all that. But we went over that in our Instagram video, so I don't think we need to go over all of that. And it will just slowly upload. I'll delete that later, probably. But basically, that's how you use Canva, and that's also how you add text to videos on Instagram Reels. It's really easy to edit in both of these places. So I would like to give us a little bit of time for considering some editing projects that you can do after this webinar is over. Some fun things you can do is make a branded end clip or an introduction to your videos. Like I showed you, it was super easy to do that. You can also add text or graphics. You can add your logo to things. You can make a slideshow of photos. That's a really easy editing project. And you can also put your video into pre-made templates through Canva, like I showed you earlier. You can also add voiceover or music using any of these editing apps. They will all allow you to do that. And you can even make your own thumbnail for a video. Well, I already showed you Instagram Reels. So does anyone have any questions or want to know more about things they can do? We might need to unmute people.